Gopala Astrology channel, where the science meets astrology for common man's understanding. Subscribe and stay tuned to this channel for continued astrological updates. Hello, welcome to Gopala Astrology channel once again, ladies and gentlemen. Today it's going to be a very interesting video on outer planets. So I'm going to start with Uranus. So we have already covered planet XYZ, the three centaurs that was introduced by Mr. Greenstone Logo. And today we will start the journey of outer planets beyond Saturn, namely Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. So in today's video, it's going to be exclusively on Uranus. We will understand the properties of Uranus. What is this Uranus? How is it going to create the ripples in the world's economy? And what is this great planet Uranus doing in all our horoscopes? Okay, we need to understand this. And as we move towards the end of the video, we will also see the example celebrities who are really the innovators of this world and what all the contributions they have given to this world through this presence of a wonderful planet Uranus. All right, so we will go into this journey. So suppose you are entering to this video to this channel for the first time, please click on the subscribe button, and also do not forget to press the bell icon, and definitely you will get a lot of knowledgeable videos in this channel. Thank you. Let's start the video. Friends, let's go to the journey of Uranus. All right, so this is a wonderful planet, and it is beyond Saturn. So many of our sages during their astrological research, they had really recognized what is known as Prajapati or Indra, and especially Sage Parashara Maharshi has already written in his book of Parashara Horoshastra about the outer planets, especially Indra or Prajapati. All right, so with that background, we should also give a lot of importance to Uranus, because of late in the classical Indian astrology, this was not really considered, and only the Westerners were using this concept. All right, so if you want to consider the Indian equivalent of Uranus in our mythological character, we can link it to Indra, who is the god of thunder. All right, so this is the planet of innovation, So this is the planet which gives a lot of new ripples in the world's economy, because it's going to, at every now and then, there will be innovations and new things that is introduced, which was like out-of-box thinking by certain great people. All right, so that is why everything on the drawing board, what we see here, one day it will become reality, right? Well, who knew that a guy like Elon Musk will introduce a Tesla car, which is a big revolution now in electric vehicles, right? So at one point of time, it was in his drawing board. In the same way, many things which are innovative in nature are actually brought into limelight by Uranus. The people who have very strong Uranus in their horoscope, they always think in a different way. The way they think, the normal people think that these guys are something out of box, and they are not normal people, like Thomas Alva Edison, right? With the moment he started building his first electric bulbs, the people there in United States, they thought that this guy is a wizard, he is making a lot of black magic or something like that, and they ran away. They thought that the bulbs are looking like skulls, the glowing skulls. So many things happened. And in the history, whenever we see that the Uranus comes to its exaltation points or in the Mula Trikona points, it is going to create a lot of new innovations, like things like a car, an airplane, whatnot. What is a computer, a cell phone, whatever is coming to this world, it is introduced through the help of Uranus. Okay, let's try to understand a little bit more about Uranus here. Uranus actually is an element of surprise. As I told you, in literal meaning, Uranus, you can look at this Uranus position, it is after Saturn. Okay, it's very far away from planet Earth and planet Sun, but still its magnetic influence is extremely strong. Okay, so next, let's try to understand a little bit more about the characteristics. As I told you, it's the Indian equivalent of Indra or Prajapati. So Indra is the god who really stole the fire from gods and gave it to humans. right? So he's the one who uses his Vajrayuda, and then he controls the gods. This is a very mythological character, Indra, right? So the basic ownership of Uranus goes to Aquarius zodiac sign. It is a very futuristic planet, and it's the disruptor of the world. That means it wants to create something new. See, all this information I have just taken from the slideshow of Mr. Greenstone logo. So these are all his very words I'm using here. All right. So the very word invention. Okay, the word unorthodox is all related to Uranus. All right, it's really a liberation from the old taboos. Okay, and people once thought that the Earth was flat, and there was a person who started. There was a Magellan who went around the world and came back to the same place, and he proved them wrong. Right. So there will be always one Uranian person who will be there in every field, who will break the taboos, and he will bring out the new innovations. Okay, the color of Uranus is blue. I am also wearing blue for this video. Okay, and it takes about 84 years for Uranus to complete one round around the sun. It really represents rebellion. Okay, so exaltation point is happening mainly in Scorpio, and these are the real years, exaltation and moon signs. Okay, the people born really in this time frame, 1896 to 1902, 1979 to 1987, 1918 to 1925, and 2002 to 2009, very recent ones. So these guys will be really the youth now. They are like 10, 12 years old, and they will be the innovators of the next 20, 25 years in the world's history. Okay, so that's how it is. And Uranus becomes the Indra, as I mentioned you. He is the one who stole the fire from the gods. This is written in the Indian mythology, and he gave it to humans. And this is really, really the element of surprise. And Greeks, they call it as the god of sky, or Prometheus. All right. So let's really get into why is it that the Uranus gets exalted in Scorpio? Please understand, what is Scorpio? Scorpio is the zodiac sign of extreme transformation. And as I told you, Uranus allows transformation, right? See, many of the people always keeps arguing with me that Saturn is still the ruler of Capricorn and Aquarius, both signs, but actually it is extremely wrong. Why? Because Saturn is very, very structured and organized planet. It only and it doesn't like changes. It doesn't like to go for as a rebellion. So it always rules only the zodiac sign of Capricorn, whereas the Uranus is the planet which is a taboo in the society, is the one which thinks out of the box, and it loves the zodiac sign of Uranus, zodiac sign of Aquarius, right? And it also gets exalted in Scorpio because it is going to create a lot of changes. It's an element of surprise. It's always hiding something below the ground, and people want to unearth it and then introduce a new concept in the world. And that's why, and Pluto is the ruler of Scorpio, and Uranus gets really exalted in this zodiac sign. All right. So now, this is the slide which you can understand about the exaltation of planets. That means this is the best position for Uranus to be there, the Scorpio, which involves a lot of changes. And some people also call in Hindi this Uranus as Herschel, right? Herschel is the higher octane of Mars, they say. So that's why it also gets exalted in Aries zodiac sign. Right now, as we speak, as this video is being made, the zodiac sign of Aries has the planet Uranus. All right, it's also considered as exaltation point for Uranus, but the deepest exaltation happens in Scorpio. All right, and then the Gemini also is considered, Gemini and Virgo, the zodiac sign of Gemini and Virgo also gives a lot of innovative ideas, right? The people who think this is the house of Mercury, so Uranus loves to be in the house of Mercury, and it's going to give the best results over here. And Virgo is a very structured, organized research work that is being done, and definitely Uranus does very well in the zodiac sign of Virgo. So I have not put it here Aquarius. Aquarius is definitely definitely the own sign of Uranus, and it does very well there. Now, exactly opposite is going to be the fall houses. Opposite to the Scorpio will be Taurus, and really, this becomes the weakest point for Uranus. The reason is Taurus is a very structured and very earthy sign. It doesn't like changes. It's very like a bull. It doesn't change at all. So the Uranus cannot do well in Taurus. In the same time, the Leo, which is really a very stubborn sign, which is same as Sagittarius, these two signs does not allow things to change. They have very stubborn characteristics. So that's why Uranus fails to give good results in the zodiac sign of Leo and Sagittarius. And again, Pisces, it becomes a kind of weak planet because it's opposite to the Virgo anyway. And it also, it's very much a Neptunian house wherein high level of spirituality is seen. Okay, so that's why the Uranus cannot give good results in all these four houses. All right, so please go back and look into your own chart. If you don't know how to do this chart, just type www.greenstonelogos.com. You will get a beautiful website there, and there is something called free horoscopes. So just click on the free horoscope, type in all your details, then you will get a color-coded chart and look for the position of Uranus, whether it is green, it's red, it's black, or is it having a circle or a square. It has got a lot of meanings. Just look for green Uranus. If it is there in your horoscope, that means you are an innovator. All right. So let's move on to the basic things here. So if you take the Kala Purusha Kundali horoscope as a generic one and try to place Uranus in all of these houses and try to understand how it behaves, we will just have a quick snapshot of this. All right. So first of all, Uranus. What is Uranus? As I told you, it's an innovative planet. It's a rebellion. It is the planet of doing a lot of research work and brings something new to the limelight. Okay, so imagine that let us say the hypothetical situation of ascendant of Aries. If it goes to the first house of Aries, which represents you yourself, your body, your throat, so you will be a very good innovator. It becomes a very good planet in zodiac sign of Aries. It gets exalted. It also gives a lot of money because this becomes the 11th lord in the first house for Aries ascendant personalities. Okay, so you can always translate back the same concept for every other ascendant. I'm just going to touch the ascendant of Aries so that you can use this concept to translate back to the rest of the 11 ascendants. All right, so imagine if it goes to Taurus zodiac sign. Okay, 11th lord in the second house should be a good yogam, but it doesn't get that power in the second house. The person may not be very innovative. He doesn't like to do changes. He's very secretive of his savings and things like that. That is possible. Okay, this guy may not do well with the family life. He may go aloof and he may stay separated from the father's created family. And yeah, so many other things you can relate it. And definitely it does well in the third house of Gemini. Imagine that the Uranus goes to the third house of Gemini, which is a very active, very innovative sign, wherein it's also a communicative sign, wherein the Mercury is the ruler, right? So it always gives very strong innovative and analytical ability for the person. So the 11th lord in the third house makes him work very hard, and he will be extremely good in all these competitive skills. He may have a lot of short round trips, wherein he will be a contributor of some kind of innovative things in his company. Okay, so very good communicator, very good hard worker, and he's going to be very interested to communicate whatever he is doing the R&D or research work. Okay, so in the emotional sign of, the next one is the emotional sign of Cancer. When Uranus goes and sits in the fourth house of Cancer zodiac sign, it becomes a neutral. It's black, whether it's neither red or green. It becomes a neutral planet here in the fourth house. That means the 11th lord goes to the fourth house, There will be definitely some innovative vehicles in his house. He's always fond of making properties, good relation with the mother, but the mother will be very scientific in nature. Okay, highly educated mother, and so on and so forth. He may be very, very fond of pets. Okay, a different kind of pets, which is not a normal pet, right? Everybody likes to go for a Labrador, for example, but this guy may go and take a very unusual type of a pet in his house. All right. So fifth house of children and creativity. Let's say if we put Uranus here, so Uranus doesn't do well in Leo because it needs change, whereas the Leo is a very stubborn sign, right? Leo wants to be always on the stage, and he wants to show all his creativity and things like that. But it is a stubborn sign, so definitely the Uranus doesn't do well here. There could be some problems related to some relationship problem with the children. The creativity definitely will be there, but he may lack that push for really the purpose of Uranus in our horoscope. All right. So definitely 11th Lord aspecting the 5th, 11th Lord sitting in the 5th house, seeing the 11th house can give gains, no doubt about it, but it can be in the later half of the life. All right. Let's put Uranus in the 6th house of Virgo, for example. Okay. When this happens, the person can be a doctor. Okay, a very innovative type of a doctor, a very innovative type of an auditor, right? So Virgo is the one which likes to go in detail with numbers, right? Remember, planet Y is the original ruler of zodiac sign of Virgo. So this zodiac sign makes Uranus to become it gets exalted here. It does well in Virgo. And it likes to do a lot of innovative type of work in the health sciences, in the auditing lines, and things like that. Okay, definitely the person will be a very, very innovative type of a healer. All right. So the next point here is the placement of Uranus in Libra. The Libra is the zodiac sign wherein it is like a fall house. It doesn't do well with a spouse, relationships, and foreign trades. There will be a lot of problems when Uranus goes and sticks there. All right, so that's the thing. It's not a good, comfortable position for Uranus to do his research work, his rebellious attitude. Maybe he may get a wife who is more rebellious in nature. All right, so that's the point here. And then 8th house of research work. This is an excellent position for Uranus to be there for an Aries ascendant person. 11th Lord goes to 8th house of deep research work. Okay, sudden things. This is the man of surprises. He's going to innovate something new and contribute to the world for sure. So the Uranus gets deeply exalted in the 8th house, which is the original house ruled by Pluto. All right, so all types of transformations are welcomed here, and Uranus really loves to be there in the zodiac sign of Scorpio. All right, whereas it gets weaker in the 9th house of Sagittarius, the higher education gets affected. This guy wants to do something more research-oriented work, not on just academics, right? So spiritual development and other things can be afflicted, and he may get some kind of a guru who is very out-of-box thinker, all right? So that's what it is. And then in zodiac sign of Capricorn, which is the 10th house, 11th Lord in the 10th house, it's a good combination. Capricorn is a neutral sign for Uranus. It is neither exalted nor debilitated, but definitely it gives good job, and the person will be definitely in the field of R&D works, and he can contribute a lot to the company's research works. Okay, certainly the person will be highly qualified, and he can be working in a company like NASA or any. I'm talking about the best conditions. So the research work, like for example, person may join a company like Tesla. Right, so all those innovative companies can hire this guy who has got Uranus in the 10th house of Capricorn. Okay, so the next one is definitely the best position because it's its own house of research work. So this person will have large circle of friends who can help and a lot of contacts in his research work. And this guy can create wonderful things into the world. So this is the best position for Uranus to be there. And then, as I told you, in the 12th house of Pisces, definitely the Uranus cannot do well, because it's more of a spiritual isolated place wherein the rebellious attitude of Uranus really doesn't do well. All right, so let's go to some of the classic examples. Whenever I think of Uranus, only this man comes to me in the front of my eyes. Okay, he is none other than Elon Musk, the world's richest man as of now, as of November 2022, when I'm making this video. Right, look at his beautiful horoscope. It's very eccentric. It's a kind of strange horoscope. It has got so many Raja Yogams in his horoscope. Let's see one by one related to Uranus. Okay, where is Uranus placed? It is in the 10th house of our Karma Sthanam. The third lord, Uranus, goes and sits in the 10th house of Karma. That means he works very hard. He is the one who transforms the things, right? So, being an Sagittarian's ascendant person, he would be a very optimistic guy, very optimistic, okay, and extremely rich as well, because Planet X, it's right there in the 7th house, and the Mercury as well with the owner of the house. Okay, so this is a wonderful combination. Sun and Mercury in the same house, it gives razor sharp brilliance. It is known as Buddhaditya Yoga, right? So in the same way, look at the power of Uranus sitting in the 10th house. He looks at the 4th house of cars, comforts, and things like that. He's the man who designed a car which doesn't need fossil fuels. He kept on saying this many times. He failed. He did a lot of hard work. He never gave up. He's the man who doesn't give up easily, right? So he can become world famous. 9th house, 9th lord, planet Z. Look at his planet Z. It is beautiful. It's exalted. All the outer planets are really doing well. He's very good in numbers. It is in the 5th house of creativity, right? 10th lord in the 5th house. Wonderful. And he doesn't have enemies. The Saturn goes to the 6th house of enemies, and it's exalted there as well. He gets a lot of challenges. He loves to take challenges, and he creatively handles it, right? So all this shows wonderful contributions of this guy Elon Musk. All right, so one interesting point here to show is that the grand opening of Tesla car really happened on 1st July 2003 in Santa Carlos in California. So look at the position on that day. I just put the outer planet positions on the day the Tesla car company was started. Right. So forget about the ascendant. I do not know the exact time, but definitely the Uranus has to be there in its own house, right? So when Elon Musk was born, it was in the zodiac sign of Virgo, and it passed all the way into its own house. That is the time that he opened a beautiful car company, Tesla, which runs on no fossil fuels, right? His concept is zero fossil fuels. So that's the power of Uranus in Aquarius. All right. Let's take one more example of a Ford car maker, right? So Henry Ford is the first car maker in the world. He made this model, and then this car was actually mounted in the 1986. He built this one, right? So he was born with the ascendant of Virgo, and look at his Uranus. It also goes to the 10th house of Gemini. It's also innovative position. He is really a kind of a guy who tried his best to give the comfort to the people in the form of a four-wheeler, right? So it started in the form of a four-wheeler bicycle kind of a thing, but it got transformed into a beautiful Ford car in 1896. And he has Uranus in Exaltation in the 10th house. That means for him, the 6th lord goes to the 10th house. There is a very strong connection between 6th house and the 10th house, right? So that's the power of Uranus in the 10th house doing for people, right? So another guy, Martin Cooper, right? He's the man who put the first cell phone in the world. So you can see how big and how thick the cell phones were there. So they were like this. You have to hold it. It was very heavy in the past, right? So, but all the credit of cell phone industry, the mobile phone industry, goes to him, and he is the man who is born with Taurus ascendant. And look at Uranus. Uranus goes to the house of creativity, right? So I'm extremely sorry. It is the mobile phone was launched on the 3rd of April 1973. It's not his birthday, right? So I'm just saying it's the birth of the mobile phone industry. It just happened when Uranus was in deep exaltation in Virgo, zodiac sign of Virgo, and it was launched on 3rd April 1973, and it happened in New York City, and he went on to do further research work on and improvements on his cell phone, but the first one was introduced on 3rd of April 1973. Right, so this is just to show whenever Uranus goes to those exaltation points, there will be a lot of new innovative works that comes to the world. All right, so let's see one more guy, Chuck Hull. Chuck Hull was the first person to do the 3D printing, right? So 3D printing was introduced by him, and look at his chart. And I got his chart, exact date of birth details, and so Uranus goes to his 10th house as well. See, all these people have Uranus in the 10th house in all those exaltation points, what I mentioned to you, right? So here, Uranus is actually the lord of 8th house. 8th house of research work. This 3D printing is becoming a very big deal nowadays, right? So, but this was first time taught by this guy, Chuck Hull, and he called this as stereolithography. Right, the word stereolithography was introduced and coined by Chuck Hull, and really it was a wonderful combination of that, and it was done. The first lithography, stereolithography work was done in 1983, when also Uranus was exalted. I didn't put it here, but exalted Uranus was there in zodiac sign of Scorpio. Right, so this is the horoscope of Chuck Hull, and he is really having a beautiful Uranus here, 8th lord in the 10th house of deep research work and publicizing his work. All right, so 3D printing has become a big deal now. Even you are able to print even living tissues, right? So one day, who knows, there may be a problem in your liver. They are going to just grow your liver in the lab and cut off this one and put the new liver. It's possible. Everything is getting possible. They are trying to increase the longevity of human lives. So many of these type of people who thought in a different way on one particular day, it has transformed the world. All right. So that is Uranus for you. So in terms of political world as well, look at the horoscope of great Narendra Modi, who is one of the best prime ministers that India has produced, right? So look at the horoscope. See, he is a Libra ascendant personality with Uranus in the 9th house. That means 5th house and 9th house are deeply connected. He's the man who thinks out of box. He's very silent. He's the man of surprises. Everybody thinks Narendra Modi is a man of surprises. Suddenly, all of a sudden, he comes on 8th of November 2016, and then he announces the 1,000 rupees and 500 rupees notes in India is no more valid. So he has the guts to make such decisions, and that is the Uranus for you as well. Okay, so Planet X played a role, but definitely it is the Uranus which makes him think very differently. He is a man who wants to introduce many new reforms to the country, and because of that stubborn character which is given by Uranus, he is able to lead the country to a next level. All right, so people will realize his contribution later on. And look at Mahatma Gandhi, right? Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, who is the father of India, and he has also got a beautiful Uranus, which is exactly same position as Narendra Modi. Of course, he has different characteristics here, but he is also the man who wants to seek the change. He was a rebellion. He was a very, very non-violent rebellion to the Britishers, right? And that rebellious attitude came to him because of this connection of fifth house and ninth house, and Uranus is really the planet which made him to do what he did. All right, of course, it was a non-violent way. And lastly, I would like to say we should never ever forget the contributions of one of the best kings of India, the Nalvadi Krishnaraja Wadiyar, the fourth Krishnaraja Wadiyar, the fourth. He was the man who did so much of contributions to the state of Karnataka. And within a short span of time, 30, 40 years, he had the vision of next 100 years for the state, right? So whatever he did in his tenure between 1894 and 1940, it is going to stay there for next 100 years, right? So for him also, look at the position of Uranus, 8th lord in the 3rd house, right? He's the man of surprises. He has given a lot of contributions to the fellow countrymen, all right? So his contributions can never be forgotten. That is how it is. And last slide for this presentation today is going to be on companies which are really born during the exaltation point of Uranus, especially 1981. Many of between 1981 and 1984, that is the time frame when Infosys was born in India, IBM, the Wipro was very much doing different type of vegetable oils and things like that, but it started becoming a software company, the innovative software company during the exaltation point of Uranus. Microsoft got into the full-fledged operation. Tesla again, as I told you, and the even political party like BJP was also born as a rebellion towards the ruling Congress government during the exaltation position of Uranus. So there's a lot of things to talk about Uranus, and definitely we have to look into our own charts and see where we are really doing that innovative work in our life. All right. So with this, we have come to the end of this video. If you have any questions, please put it in your comment section. I'll be very glad to answer them whenever I have free time. All right. And last but not the least, please click on the subscribe button and also press the bell icon, as I'm going to make more and more knowledgeable videos and you will not miss them whenever I put on the YouTube. All right. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. See you.